is like being guilty of deceit. Is like being guilty of deceit.
Guilty of deceit. Guilty of deceit.
Is like being guilty of deceit.
The people who had memorized large sections of the Quran were sent into battle by Abu Bakr, and they were slaughtered. Muslims lost a ton of the Quran that day. Abu Bakr didn't want to lose any more, and so he had Zayd ibn Thabit put together what was left and compiled it into a manuscript.
That was the Christian missionary David Wood making stuff up, stuff that contradicts the actual source material. Yes, a narration in Sahih al-Bukhari contradicts and disproves David Wood, but he doesn't care about that, does he? I guess ignorance is bliss. The fact is, after the Battle of Yamama, that's what he was talking about, 70 memorizers of the Quran had died, so Abu Bakr was worried that the rest of the 200 would die in future battles. Thus, as a result, he put the Quran in book form in order to preserve it. That's all. No source or authority claims the Quran was lost. David Wood just made that up. Before I bring forward the expert, Yasser Qadi, to educate us all, I will play a clip from Nabeel Qureshi. Nabeel Qureshi, for those who are unaware, is David Wood's preaching partner. And Nabeel Qureshi in this clip confirms David Wood is speaking a lot of nonsense. As Nabeel Qureshi confirms, Abu Bakr put the Quran in book form because he feared more Quran would die in future battles, and thus feared the Quran may be lost in the future.
After the Battle of Yamama, Abu Bakr did in fact say that he was worried there would be more casualties among the Qurra at other battlefields, whereby a large part of the Quran may be lost unless you collect it. So Abu Bakr is now worried after the Battle of Yamama that the Quran may be lost. This is why he starts collecting the Quran. That's Sahih Bukhari as well.
Now the more alert of you may be thinking, hold on, is that not Nabeel Qureshi sitting right next to David Wood whilst David Wood is making his false claim of a ton of the Quran being lost after the Battle of Yamama? Well, I can confirm that is indeed Nabeel Qureshi. You're correct. Now you may be asking, why did Nabeel Qureshi let David Wood make the false claim? The answer is dishonesty. Nabeel Qureshi is dishonest. Nabeel knew David Wood was making stuff up.
Within a year of the death of the Prophet ﷺ, he had compiled an entire Qur'an, cover to cover, Fatiha to Nas. And this is the first time that the Qur'an is put in a book form, cover to cover. Now this Qur'an was compiled in the 12th year of the Hijrah, i.e. literally 1 year and a few months after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, and it was done at the request of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala an. Because what happened was that a certain battle occurred, the Battle of Yamama. And in this battle, which was fought against Musaylama, the liar, the false prophet, a lot of the huffaz, or the memorizers of the Qur'an, died. And so, Umar ibn al-Khattab came to Abu Bakr and said, O Amir al-Mu'mineen, O leader of the faithful, O Khalifatu Rasulullah, I am scared that if you don't compile the Qur'an in a book form, our huffaz will die one after the other, and portions of the Qur'an will be lost. So why don't you compile it in a book form? So Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was first hesitant, but Umar radiallahu anh managed to convince him, and they both decided to put Zayd ibn Thabit.
Is like being guilty of deceit. Is like being guilty of deceit. Is like being guilty of deceit.
آمنت بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر والقدر خيره وشره من الله والبعث بعد الموت لا إله إلا الله آمنت بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر والقدر خيره وشره من الله والبعث بعد الموت. لا إله إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله، محمد رسول الله. لا إله إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله، محمد رسول الله. Faith is belief in Allah and the messengers, the angels and the final day and the holy scriptures. And to believe in destiny, that good and bad both come from Him, and the resurrection. There is no God but Allah. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah.